Glassenberg from Craft Industry Alliance. I hope you are having a fantastic Wednesday. Today is actually my birthday, so I am 47, very exciting. But we come here live every Wednesday to drop in on one of our members for our member spotlight feature. And today we're going to be able to talk with Ayelet Golz, who is somebody who's got a lot of expertise in making video for crafters. And she recently wrote an article for us that's all about how to make video if you yourself don't want to or don't feel comfortable being on camera. So she gave us 5 really helpful tips for that, and you can look for that article at craftindustryalliance.org under our news tab. So Ayelet will be joining us shortly. As she's coming on, I did want to talk about one very exciting upcoming live event that we have on Thursday of next week. It is going to be a webinar at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific, taught by Lyric Kennard. Lyric is an expert on virtual teaching. So, of course, during the pandemic, all of the classes were canceled, all the teaching gigs were canceled, and a lot of craft instructors pivoted to teaching online. And there's specific hardware, software, all kinds of things, tips that make an online class most successful. And Lyric has figured them all out. So she started a company called the Academy for Virtual Teaching. And she's going to be doing a webinar for us that's going to be an hour long, and it will help you understand how to turn content that you've already created, maybe how-to content that's a pattern, or a blog post, some sort of content that you already know and have created into an online class. And that could be an asynchronous class where students just take the class at their own pace using pre-recorded videos you've made. Or it could be a synchronous class where you are there live on Zoom, guiding everybody through the material. Or it could be a mixture of both. And Lyric will talk about what equipment you need, how to make 2 cameras, an overhead camera, and a head-on camera, for example, how to do it without investing too much money in equipment, maybe with just your iPhone or with just an iPhone and a webcam, things that are not too expensive and not too complicated. She'll break that down for us, and she'll also talk about how to host those videos, where to host them, how to invite people to the class, how to charge, what to charge for the classes that you're offering. It's going to be pretty comprehensive and very exciting. So if that sounds interesting to you, maybe you want to create an online class, a virtual workshop of some kind, or maybe you already have one and kind of want to up your game and make it even better, maybe for round 2. Please join us on next week on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we will be there together to learn from Lyric and ask our questions live. If you're already a Craft Industry Alliance member, then this workshop, as all of our webinars are, is free for you. It's included in your membership. We run a webinar like this, taught by an industry expert, every single month. And you can attend live. If you can't attend live or you want to re-watch the webinar, it's available for our members anytime. So there's a whole archive. We've been around now for almost 8 years. And that means that every month for 8 years, we run a webinar, and you get access to all of those archives when you become a Craft Industry Alliance member. So I hope you will join us for that. And this week we also had another live event. It was yesterday, actually, and that was our Craft Business Roundtable, which is a meeting for members. It's very fun. We had, I think, maybe 56 people there yesterday, which for August is a pretty great turnout. And we were talking about what is happening in the crafts industry. Specifically, yesterday we talked about the new Michael's Craft Supply Marketplace that will be launching soon. And we also talked about the results of the Etsy second quarter earnings call. And then toward the end, we have a lot of time for members to share questions that they have for the group, things that they're wrestling with. They can share successes. We had lots of people share about books and shows and newly published things that they're working on. new classes that they've set up and published, things like that. So that is always a lot of fun and very helpful and interesting. And if a live meeting like that sounds appealing to you, you can join us every single month on Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 11 a.m. Pacific, for the Craft Business Roundtable. So that's always really fun, and we have a great turnout for that. September 1 will be on the first Tuesday of September, so we hope you can come for that. Ayelet, I don't see you here yet. I'm just looking through who is here. So we'll give Ayelet another minute or two to come by. And if she's not able to attend today, then we will reschedule her member spotlight for another day. But anyway, so go to craftindustryalliance.org. You can check out all of those things that I was just talking about, the webinars, the Craft Business Roundtable meeting, as well as Ayelet's most recent article that she did for us about 5 tips for creating online video without or being on camera. So she's here now, and Ayelet, I'm hopefully letting you in. There you are. How are you?
Good. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, it's my birthday today, so very exciting. But nothing I like better than to just talk with our members. So this is perfect on my birthday. And Ayelet, I wondered if you would tell us a little bit about your specialty and how you work with folks in the craft industry on video.
Sure. So I'm a freelance video editor and video content strategist. So I primarily work with creatives and creative entrepreneurs who are either looking to get into video and have their own footage or audio, or are open to using stock footage to suit their needs, and kind of a wide range. I tend to do more long form videos, so about videos or tutorials or other information sharing videos. But I also love a good 30-second kind of quick ad too. So, and a lot of my long form videos are still sort of repurposed into a short form or social media type video too.
Great. Yes, of course. And so how did you get into being part of the video production world? Is this something you've always been interested in?
Yeah, so I like to think of it as like it's really just telling stories in a visual medium. And I've always loved storytelling, photos, very like visual. My craft of choice is sewing, as you can probably see with my little baby lock back there. And I've found that, especially through social media, video has always really piqued my interest. But as far as how I kind of got into it professionally, I have a background in digital marketing. So I was in digital marketing for about more than 15 years, and just really missed the hands-on creative work. And I was doing a lot of work around the pandemic that involved video and video strategy, and realized that I just really wanted to do that for my own clients full time. So that's where I sort of pivoted. It's about a year this week. Is this my first year anniversary of being in business, which is really exciting.
That's great. Right. So I think a lot of people are intimidated by video. It's a lot of skill and effort needed to create a really good video. When I think back to, for example, creating a really good blog post, it seems like it's a whole different skill set at least. And so, and yet, you know, all the social media platforms are certainly emphasizing video now. So if somebody wanted to work with you, what kind of footage, I mean, where you're probably not going to be local to them. So how can they get, you know, work with you? Should they shoot their own footage and send it to you, or how does this all work?
Yeah, so I generally work with footage that people have already shot, but I've also worked with videographers. If it's just too much to even think about recording your own videos, there's other ways to do it. And that was also kind of the impetus behind writing that article for you all about how to make videos without being on camera, because I think that the being on camera part trips a lot of people up and it can make them not want to do video at all. But there's so many different ways to use video, and you don't have to actually even be on camera. You can use your smartphone to record footage. You can use a webcam on your computer. You could use Zoom now. Like, there's just a lot of different ways to do it. And so I try to help guide my clients through like the many different ways that they could put video into their work. Because I think for crafters and creatives, it's just essential. Like, it's so just a part of who we are, showing our process and showing what we make and how we started and how, the middle messy bits and then the end result, and it's super exciting. And so I think that there's a lot of like great things that video can do for crafters.
Right. So if somebody wanted to work with you, you could get on a call together. They could kind of explain their overall idea, and then you could suggest some ways that they could shoot the footage. And so it can be a little bit of a collaboration with you. They don't have to know upfront all the things that they need to do.
Right, exactly. I work with people who have too many ideas and people who have no ideas. And I like to kind of take it from the strategy. So sitting down and talking about, okay, what are your goals, your messaging, your audience, your needs? Like, what do you feel comfortable with in terms of creating content? And then from there, developing a strategy and having sort of an action plan for someone, I think makes it a little bit easier to just like dive in and sort of get into video. So kind of after the strategy would come the actual creation of the videos, and that really just depends on needs and wants for the business and goals and all that.
Okay. And so you take care of all of the editing and maybe show them at some point kind of a draft or something like that to get some feedback.
Yes, yeah, usually I do a first draft and then I get feedback and then a second draft. And usually after the second draft, we're pretty much there because we've done all the work like ahead of time, with the strategy and with talking about getting really clear on, what is going into the video. It really reduces how much time we need for revisions and feedback rounds because I try to be really in sync with who I'm talking to. I spend a lot of time listening and asking questions because it's just more important to do that from the start than to like try and backtrack afterwards and revise. So, yeah.
Okay. And is this sort of affordable? Because I think some people might be thinking, wow, this sounds like a great service. I can shoot the video basics, but I don't want to go through the process of, well, first of all, coming up with a strategy, but then also doing all the editing and refining and things like that. I'd love to have somebody just deliver a finished product to me, but at the same time, I don't have like a big business budget. So just wondering if you can give us a sense of the affordability here.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think that there's still a bit of investment in it. It's definitely not a like go to Capwing or what's the other one I've used? CapCut, I think, is they have a very similar name.
That's a TikTok like video editor that my kids use.
Yes. It's not a hire a teen to make your video. It's working with someone who's professional. And so there's a little bit of investment to it. But I still think that it's reasonable given how much video can help a business.
Right.
There's been a lot of really great stats about just like having a video on your landing page could increase conversions by 80%. So like stuff like that just makes it really worth it. So I think it's for everyone to really decide like what does that investment look like for them and what is reasonable for them. I think I have most of my pricing, not for my video editing, but for like my strategy work on my services page, because I try to be really upfront to say, like this is sort of the range that I'm working in. But video editing projects are very dependent on what am I working with? What are we talking about?
Right.
Like, what's the length? So there's, it's tricky to give a range or even an estimate. But
Without,
I have
right.
most information for people on my site.
Yeah, and two things that I would say would be great starting points and well worth the investment would be, I mean, there can be one and the same, but one would be like an about me kind of video that you can put on your about page. And you can send, for example, new newsletter subscribers right there. You can like embed the sort of photo of it so people click over and watch it.
Mhm.
It's just a great way in 30 seconds to a minute for folks to get to know you, see your studio, understand you. Those are so effective. And when they're beautifully done, I love to watch them. I think about those creative bug like instructor videos. They're just like really fun to watch. So
Mhm.
that would be one. And you could either use the same one or a different one. But I was thinking also if you do YouTube, that video that you can pin to the top of your video of your YouTube page, it's like introducing people to your channel. I always
Yeah.
watch those. And if they're really great, you subscribe to the channel like right away.
Yeah, you bring up great points. It's like there's certain videos that really are high impact, and it does pay to get them really high quality because there's such a face for your brand. You're really like putting yourself out there, and I don't know,
Yeah.
it's a first impression that someone's getting of your brand and of you, and it's important.
Another one I was thinking too is if you do a big pivot, it's kind of nice to have a video message. Like I remember during the pandemic, Handmade Arcade in Pittsburgh, they're an in-person indie craft show and they needed to pivot to being online. And so the Trisha, who's the executive director, she did a video, I think it was 2 minutes long, but it was professionally done. And she just explained, like, here is what we are going to do and how we're going to do it so that all of us can survive this crisis. And so it was a big pivot, but having it explained by her directly to you on video was incredibly powerful and I think brought everybody along.
What a great example. I hadn't seen that, but just hearing you talk about it, it feels like, how people say, oh, I should just call you. I can't put this in an email. It sort of feels like the same thing. It's like there's some things you just don't want to put in an email. You just don't want to put alone in a blog post or on a page because it feels so much more expressive to get it face to face. And video is sort of that face to face alternative when we aren't all face to face.
Totally. And I'm just thinking they're very memorable, right? Because I can like recall
Mhm.
these ones. There was another one that Michael, who is the CEO of Spoonflower, they were like way behind because they got a huge rush of pandemic orders. And so he
Mhm.
got on video and was like, listen, we've hired all these people. We've moved to a larger warehouse. We didn't anticipate this. Nobody could have. Here is how we are managing it. So you will get your order by this estimated time. And it was just like a very like sincere way to reach out to people who were probably pretty angry, waiting too
Mhm.
long for an order and sort of explain it. And I feel like you come away from that being like, okay, like they're working on it. I saw his like face to face. He talked to us, and it's very
Mhm.
powerful.
Yeah, agreed. As you were talking, I was thinking about when Adele, a pop culture reference, but when Adele had to cancel her concert series or postpone her concert series in Vegas, and she, created that really like, it felt like she was talking straight to us. And it was so heartfelt, and you could just see like she was so emotional throughout it. It was such a great way for her to really talk to the people and express just how sorry she was.
Yeah, absolutely. And these videos really stick out in our mind. And I think probably everybody watching this can think of some video they've seen in the last few years that really stuck out to them, either because it was so beautiful or heartfelt or something. And so if you want to make a video like that, or you need to for whatever reason, get some help so that it's professionally done, and you're really putting your best face forward. And if you want a longer term video strategy, same thing. So Ayelet, I think it's great because you also really understand, as you said, you sew, you're a crafter yourself, you understand craft-based businesses. I think often many of us have worked with contractors who are
Yeah.
outside of our industry and they're just like knitting. What is like, why is this even a business? You know, and it's like,
Mhm.
it's really
Yeah.
difficult to do
Yeah.
that. So
Sometimes,
I love
yeah.
contractors who are inside.
Yes. Sometimes it just feels like they don't understand, or even worse, that they're patronizing or don't, like, oh, your little craft business. And it's like, no, this is your livelihood. Like, this is important. This is
Right.
your passion. I totally
Exactly.
understand that. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So for me, the best is to work with folks who totally get it. No more of an uphill climb, and they also can see things that maybe you're not seeing about your own work. So very
Mhm.
helpful. Okay, so this is great. I think honestly, there's not that many people that I know of who do what you're doing. So thank you for doing it. It's such a really valuable resource for everybody. So tell us how we can find you if we want to get started, or at least bookmark it for some future date when we're ready. Let us know where we should go.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Ayelet Creates is my handle. And then my website is ayeletgolz.com. So it's AYELETGOLZ.com. And I have a I have a services page and a portfolio page. And you can check out my About page to learn a little bit more about me and my background, and all the good stuff is there.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Member Spotlight. And thank you to everybody who came today. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, for another Member Spotlight. Thank you, Ayelet.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.